Bayer marketed Essure as the safest permanent birth control ever developed. The FDA received 26,000 adverse event reports. Those reports documented organ perforation, device migration, chronic pain, and hysterectomies in women who trusted the approval process. The device was approved in 2002. Bayer withdrew it from the US market in 2018. 16 years of documented harm. The company was Bayer. The device was Essure. Thousands of women underwent hysterectomies after implantation. What you just saw is where this ends. What follows is how a permanent birth control device became a permanent source of harm. Bayer AG is a German multinational pharmaceutical company founded in 1863, best known globally for aspirin and pharmaceutical development. Essure was developed by Conceptus Inc. and designed as a non-surgical permanent contraception, a coil inserted into each fallopian tube. The intended mechanism, the coils would trigger scar tissue formation in the fallopian tubes, creating a permanent natural barrier against pregnancy. Essure was marketed as safer than tubal ligation, no general anesthesia, no incision, no hospital stay. Office procedure, 30 minutes. The FDA approved Essure under the PMA pathway in November 2002, based on clinical trial data submitted by the device's manufacturer. Conceptus Inc. Bayer acquired Conceptus in 2013 for $1.1 billion, absorbing the device, its clinical history, and its growing adverse event database simultaneously. Essure was implanted in an estimated 750,000 women worldwide, approximately 650,000 in the United States, between 2002 and 2018. Bayer marketed Essure directly to gynecologists with financial incentive programs, $300 to $600 per implantation, documented in congressional investigation records. By 2015, the FDA had received enough adverse event reports on Essure to convene an advisory committee, and Bayer's internal response was already documented. The fraud mechanism had 3 documented operational components, each identifiable in Bayer's regulatory submissions, internal communications, and post-market surveillance records. Component 1, Adverse Event Underreporting. Bayer's post-market surveillance records show adverse events were classified in ways that reduced their visibility in the FDA reporting system. Component 2, Clinical Trial Data Management. The pre-approval trial excluded patients most likely to experience adverse outcomes according to subsequent FDA analysis. A 2017 FDA analysis identified significant limitations in the Essure pre-approval clinical trial design that affected the agency's post-market safety understanding. Component 3, Informed Consent Suppression. Bayer's patient information materials, reviewed in congressional investigation, understated documented adverse event rates and severity. All 3 components, adverse event classification, trial population selection, and informed consent materials, operated simultaneously for over a decade. Every Essure implantation performed without accurate informed consent was a patient who could not make a fully informed medical decision. The gap between Bayer's patient materials and the FDA's adverse event database was the device's entire safety claim, communicated versus documented. That gap existed in every informed consent document signed between 2002 and 2018. Maintaining that gap required a concealment architecture with 3 operational levels, each one documented in the Congressional Investigation Record. Concealment Level 1. Bayer's adverse event classification system created reporting categories that minimized mandatory FDA medical device report submissions. Congressional investigators found Bayer received thousands of internal adverse event complaints that did not appear in FDA mandatory reporting databases. Concealment Level 2. Bayer continued using pre-approval clinical trials safety data in Essure promotion, even as post-market adverse events accumulated in the FDA database. Bayer received an FDA warning letter in 2013 specifically for Essure promotional materials that overstated efficacy and understated documented risks. Concealment Level 3. Patient Advocacy Suppression. MDL litigation documents show how Bayer's legal and communications apparatus responded to organized patient safety advocacy. Erin Brockovich organized patient advocates who testified before Congress in 2015, the same year the FDA convened its advisory committee on Essure safety. The FDA's 2015 advisory committee voted to keep Essure on the market, requiring a black box warning, the agency's strongest safety label, be added. The black box warning required patients to sign an FDA-mandated decision checklist before implantation, the agency's own acknowledgement of prior consent inadequacy. A 2016 FDA warning letter cited Bayer's Essure promotional materials as containing misleading safety representations inconsistent with the approved labeling. All 3 concealment levels operated simultaneously from 2002 through 2018, each generating documentary evidence that eventually reached congressional investigators and MDL discovery. Three concealment levels, 16 years. Here is what the machinery produced when it reached ordinary women in their gynecologists' offices. In 2015, the House Energy and Commerce Committee launched a formal investigation into Essure's safety record and Bayer's adverse event reporting practices. The investigation found Bayer had received over 16,000 internal adverse event reports that had not been submitted as mandatory FDA medical device reports. Among the women who testified before Congress about Essure was a Florida patient who required a hysterectomy after implantation, her case in the Congressional Record. According to FDA medical device reports and the Congressional Investigation Record, thousands of women who received Essure required subsequent surgical intervention. The Florida patient in the Congressional Record received Essure in 2009, told it was the safest permanent birth control available, safer than tubal surgery. She received the Essure procedure as directed in an office setting in 2009, her physician following Bayer's training protocols exactly as distributed. She experienced chronic pelvic pain following the procedure. Imaging later revealed device migration. She underwent a hysterectomy in 2012. Her testimony is in the House Energy and Commerce Committee Congressional Record, one of the patient testimonies that informed the 2015 investigation findings. She was not exceptional. The congressional investigation found her experience representative of a documented pattern across 16 years of adverse event reports. The the FDA's post-market safety review found Essure associated with higher reoperation rates than tubal ligation, the procedure it had been marketed as safer than. Each woman who consented based on Bayer's safety marketing consented to a risk that differed from what the FDA's adverse event database documented. Bayer acquired Conceptus and the adverse event record in 2013. Essure sold until 2018. Here is what followed when accountability finally arrived. In April 2018, the FDA restricted Essure to facilities using the FDA-mandated patient decision checklist, the most significant regulatory action taken on the device. In July 2018, Bayer voluntarily withdrew Essure from the US market, citing commercial reasons rather than safety findings as the basis for withdrawal. Bayer's withdrawal statement maintained Essure was safe and effective, the same safety positioning used throughout 16 years of documented adverse event accumulation. The FDA's April 2018 safety communication cites 26,773 adverse event reports and mandates a patient decision checklist. The agency's acknowledgement of prior consent inadequacy. Federal MDL litigation for Essure was established in 2016 in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, consolidating thousands of individual lawsuits into one federal proceeding. Bayer began resolving Essure litigation through confidential individual settlements, the financial terms sealed from public record by settlement confidentiality agreements. Bayer's SEC filed annual reports acknowledge Essure litigation liability without disclosing settlement amounts, citing confidential individual resolution terms as the basis. In 2020, Bayer established a €10.9 billion global litigation reserve, Essure among the litigation categories included alongside Roundup and other product claims. Bayer's 2020 market capitalization was approximately €32 billion, context for a €10.9 billion litigation reserve representing roughly a third of total company value. Essure was withdrawn globally by December 2018. Individual criminal charges against Bayer executives for documented adverse event reporting conduct, 0. The PMA pathway that gave Essure its market authority relied on manufacturer-submitted clinical trial data without requiring mandatory independent verification. $26,773 FDA adverse event reports, confidential settlements, 0 individual criminal charges. The congressional investigation record is in the public record. The names of the executives documented in that congressional investigation are in that record. Here is what happened to them. No Bayer executive was criminally charged in connection with Essure adverse event reporting or informed consent materials per DOJ public records. The PMA approval pathway still does not require mandatory independent verification of manufacturer-submitted clinical trial data before high-risk medical device approval. The FDA's medical device reporting system still relies primarily on manufacturer-submitted adverse events. Independent post-market surveillance of device performance remains limited. What made the Essure fraud possible was not one bad actor. It was two structural conditions in the FDA's medical device approval and post-market surveillance architecture. Structural Condition 1, PMA approval relying on manufacturer-submitted clinical trial data without mandatory independent present before Essure and present today. Structural Condition 2. Medical device reporting system relying on manufacturer-submitted adverse event data, creating manufacturer control over post-market safety visibility. Both structural conditions preceded the 2002 Essure approval. Both remain present today. Buyer's withdrawal and confidential settlements changed neither of them. The FDA's Adverse Event Database for Essure, the Congressional Investigation Record and the PMA approval documentation are all in the public record. The FDA received 26,773 adverse event reports before acting. The patient decision checklist mandate acknowledged prior consent was inadequate. The question no official body has answered formally is this: that question has no official answer. This channel exists to pursue it through the documents that are already in the public record and waiting to be found. Every video on this channel is built from FDA records and congressional documents. Subscribe. We read the ones institutions filed and hoped no one would find.